And so the trek continues with Jonah 1:6. Now I'm going to assume that you've worked on the noun endings, the masculine, feminine, singular, plural, and you kind of have a sense of the construct. You may be a little iffy on the construct, but you get the concept. You know what you got to memorize. Go watch that noun ending video, Hebrew noun ending video, until you've got it, or just make some little 3x5 cards and memorize it. But we're now in Jonah 1:6. See if you can pronounce that line. Pause the video. See if you can do it. Okay, here's how I would pronounce it. Vayikrav Eliv Rav HaKovel HaYomer. Okay, and notice I'm putting the accent on the second to last syllable on these. We'll call them converted imperfects or past tense, whatever, at some point. Hopefully you know what that vav on the front there is, and the vav on the front there, what is it? It's and, right? So what is the translation? Well, this is something like, and drew near to him. He drew near to him. This is and he drew near. And then this is to him. We're going to spend a second thinking a little bit later on about this vav. The vav is where the him comes in. You know L, right? Actually, you already know L as a preposition that means to. The vav is what's called a pronomial suffix, and it means him. Here it's kind of an object suffix, to him. So we're gonna, but before this video is over, we're gonna seal the deal with that vav at the end of a word when it means him or his or something like that. And he drew near to him. Who drew near to him? Well, this fellow right here did. The Rav HaChovel drew near to him. And Rav means something like an abundance of something. By the way, if you don't know language, you can't be too rigid. There's a slang to it. Think of Michael Jackson's "I'm bad, I'm bad." You mean you're bad? No, I mean I'm good. What? You say things and he tells two friends and he too tells two friends. Before you know it, there's this whole new way of using a word that it didn't mean that before. The meaning of language is a popularity contest. A dictionary tells you, and the number one way that people are using this word today, as of 6/18 on the 10th of October 2022, this is how, so the words meanings fall out of use, new meanings come into play. And so Rav, although it generally means an abundance, it can mean like the chief or the number one, the muchness. He's the huge one. He's the abundance guy. The chief of the sailor. Okay, this is not how we put it in English, but this is Hebrew. They get to make their own rules. I know, wait a minute, they should follow my English rules. No, they should follow their own rules. So this is the chief of the sailor. Usually translated in translation, something like captain. They don't even tell you it's two words in Hebrew. They just put the captain drew near to him, something like that. But it's literally something like the chief of the sailor. And I'm like, why not the chief of the sailors? It's not chief of the sailor. This is Hebrew. They get to make up their own rules. They don't have to follow our rules. So this is like the abundance of the sailor. Now, given that we just did a video on nouns, what are you thinking? I'm just feeling you out. What are you thinking of this two-word chain? What are you thinking? That's right. It's construct chain. So Rav is here in the construct. The hint is that it has a short vowel. Normally, a word standing out in a what is a man out standing in his field? It's a farmer. No, okay. A word all by itself is going to have an accent, and it's going to probably have a long vowel. So the fact that this has a short vowel, remember how I talked about the construct just sucks all the vowel out of the word because you've got it's in a sense in terms of sound you're joining it with the word that comes after it, and so. This patak here, which is not a long vowel, but a shorter vowel, is a hint that this is construct. And if you were to look at interlinearbible.org or in a Hebrew Bible, you'd find that this actually has, I believe it's called a munach. It's I go with the word that comes after it kind of accent. So this is construct, the chief of the abundance of the sailor. Who is the abundance of the sailor here? The captain. Now, the sailor. What's peculiar about here? I see a hey, I see a patak, but shouldn't there be a doubling here if it's the sailor? Well, I'm going to, in this particular slide, we are going to seal the deal with the word the, called the article. We're going to we're going to nail, as of this video, I know the article, okay? Remember with well, let me just go through the list here. Let's nail down the article, shall we? The normal, the default is hey, patak, doubling. Of course, it's on the other side in Hebrew, but just this is in the English order. Hey, patak, and then doubling of the next letter is the normal way. So hayam, the C, hey, patak, doubling, and yam is C. So that's the C. That's normal. Hey, patak, doubling. We also know from a previous video that gutturals don't do doubling. I'm not doing doubling. It's not in my contract. Aleph and ayin, these two gutturals, they don't do doubling. And what they do is something called compensatory lengthening. So the patak says, well, if you're not going to double, I'm going to go long. And so the patak becomes a kamatz in the case of these two. And now to finish, and now the end, the rest of Game of Thrones. No, the rest of Game of Hebrew, the game of the article. With hey and hate, which, I mean, they kind of look the same, so that's help, right? With hate, they don't do nothing. I mean, grammarians call it virtual doubling. It basically, what is virtual doubling? It's a fancy way of saying it just doesn't do anything. So not only does it not double, but the patak says, I can't be bothered to lengthen. It's like it tried to shoot the dagesh in there, but it was so open, it went, and the dagesh fell away. Anyway, so this is the three basic situations of the article on a word, just on the word. And it's hey, patak, doubling normally. With gutturals, they don't do doubling. With aleph and ayin, you get compensatory lengthening. With hey and hate, you don't get anything but the patak. The doubling just, I give up. And just to complete it, remember, the one other situation is when you put a preposition on the front, it's like, crash, and the hey pops out. And so all you have left is whatever you have, either the patak left over, or you have the kamatz left over, you might have the doubling left over, or you may just have the patak. So whatever would have happened to the base word when you put a preposition on it, like pops out like a pimple, and it's gone. The hey, what the hey? The hey's gone. And there we have the sum of what it's like, the article. We've now summed up, sealed the deal with the word the in Hebrew. Okay, so this is the chief of the sailor. Why is it singular? I don't know. Ours is not to question why. Ours is just to memorize or die. Here's another one, Vayomer. Vayomer is all over the Old Testament. It's worth memorizing it if you want to. I'm not going to require you to know it as of this video, but you might just take a few seconds and memorize it. Vayomer Elohim, and God said, Yahior, Vayihior. Let there be light, and there was light. Vayomer is all over the Old Testament. It's worth memorizing. You set aside some brain cells for that sometime. Vayomer. All right, so let's keep going, shall we? I reproduced the Vayomer. Vayomer lo Malak. Malek. Malakah. There it is. Malakah. Near Dam. So this is the captain talking to Jonah. And he said to him, Lo, I am with you always. No, that's not what he said to him. He said, Lo. What is lo? Well, remember we had alive. Boy, I'm having trouble. Alive. And we said that vav was him. Let's go ahead and dedicate some brain cells to memorize that. This is the third person masculine singular pronomial suffix, him. And so when you see a holem vav on the end of a word, sometimes it means him, to, like here, to him. So, and he said to him, we knew la, right? La is the preposition to, and then here we have holem vav, which means him, to him. Isn't that fun? Two letters. First letter means to, second letter means him. Okay, and here's what he said. What? Ma, what? What, ma? Ma means what? Just another vocabulary word. Ma, laka. So la, you know, is to, and then ka. Now introducing for the first time ever, ka is you. It's a second masculine singular. Oh, I should tell you about person number. I'm using these words third person. You may not even know what that is. Okay, so the first person is I. First person singular is I. We use this language of first person, second person, third person. Okay, I am the first person. I'm the one speaking. The first person is the speaker. If it's more than one of me speaking, then it's us or we, first person plural. But if it's just me speaking, it's I'm going to the store. We are going to the store. Those are both first person situations. Second person is who we're speaking to. In other words, it's either you singular, as it is here, you masculine singular, because Jonah is a you. Hey, you, Jonah. There's also, second feminine singular. Hey, you, Lila. There's also a second person plural. Hey, y'all, what you doing? Go ye. So y'all or uses, we don't really have a proper y'all in English, but it's you plural. And then third person is who we're talking about. First person is the one speaking. Second person is who we're speaking to. Third person is what we're speaking about. So it could be a he, could be a she, could be an it, could be a they. Okay, don't worry if you don't know all that. So him is a third person singular masculine, third masculine singular, because we're talking about him. This is a second masculine singular pronomial suffix because I'm talking to you and you're a guy. One of you, not to many, but to you. Second, again, if you don't understand it all, we'll seal it up eventually. What do you need to know from this video? There is such a thing as a suffix, which goes on the end of the word, that is a pronoun. What is a pronoun? It's like him, her. It's something that stands in place of a noun. So like you could call me Ken, or you can say, hey, him, hey, he. I'm talking about him, or I'm talking about he, or you. That's a stand-in for Ken in various situations. It's a pronoun. It's for a noun. It's not the noun Ken. It's in place of a noun. Pronoun. Anyway, if you don't fully know all this grammar, don't worry. I know I'm inundating you with a fire hose, but to him is just know that it's him. The whole involved is him. And the ka, with a kaf and a kamatz in it, is you. And it's a singular you, and it's a masculine you. So to him and to you. These are things I want you to know from this particular video. I want you to have the article sealed up, and I want you to know 3 pronomial suffixes. I want you to know him, o. I want you to know you, ka, and then on the next slide, I'll give you another one. All right, so now now the rest of the slide, the rest of this verse. So kum, kara, el, Eloheka, ulai, yit a shet, ha, Elohim. Okay, so rise, kum, rise, kara, call, el, to, your God, Eloheka. Okay, there's the kaf with the kamatz. We just had that on the previous slide. This is you, except here it's not an object to you. Here it's what's called a possessive, your. But it's the same thing. I mean, same vein, right? Either you as an object or your of you as uses God. Interesting that it's he knows that it's one God for Jonah here. So rise, call to your God. Ulai, perhaps the God will think. Perhaps will think the God. Okay, there's Ha Elohim. Notice, what is this hey on the front with compensatory lengthening? This is a the on Elohim. And Aleph say, I don't do doubling. It's not in my contract. So instead of hey patak doubling, he tries to shoot the dagesh in there and bing, ricochets back and lengthens the patak. Not really. Okay, so compensatory lengthening, this is the God. Perhaps the God will think, your God. He knows it's one. He knows one God here. He doesn't say pray to your gods. He says pray to your God. I'm over making that point, but this is not a theology video, so I'll beep beep. Ken reversing. Okay. Lanu velo no vade. Okay, and not, perhaps the God will think to us or pay attention to us, and not we will perish. Okay, 2 things I want you to know as we finish up this video. First of all, I want you to know another pronoun. So 3 pronouns, right? You know that the Cholam Vav is him, the kaf with the kamatz is you, singular, masculine. And now I want you to know the first common plural, which is us. So new. We are the new. We are the knights who say new. We are. So this is us, we, to us. new. So you know O is him, ka is you, and nu is we. We'll have opportunity to see this again, but I want you to work on that in this video. Last thing I want you to know is the word lo. This means not. It's an important word. It's all over the Old Testament, and so you should not know it. You should not know it. You should lo know it. Not, lo. This is the word for not. You should know it. Okay, so a lot of other grammar bits, but we're not going to do them in this video. What do I want you to know from this video? I want you to seal the deal on the article, the various ways that the presents itself, especially hepatic doubling, but other variations. I want you to know 3 pronomial suffixes, that holem vav on the end of something can mean him or his, that ka, kaf with a kamatz on the end of something can mean you when it's, or your when it's referring to a masculine singular thing, and that nu can mean us or our at the end of a word. And also you should know the word not, because it's very important. And this has been Jonah 1, I think, 6.